I've been loving these lip scrubs. They're just so wintry and cozy. My outfit's all wintry and cozy today. I am so comfortable. Hey, what's up you guys? Today I want to share with you guys a simplified honey lip scrub. The simplified honey lip scrub formula has ingredients that are really easy to find, I believe, in most countries. And the second, more advanced lip scrub formula, it's kind of built around ingredients that are commonly used in lip products. Both of the formulas are super easy to make. Grab your scale and make sure you have a heat-safe container to combine all of your ingredients because we're gonna be heating this up. I added in cocoa butter, and this is a scented cocoa butter. So it does have like a natural chocolatey scent, which I think works really good for the honey theme lip scrub. And you guys will see what flavor oil I use to pull it all together. Of course, you can use a different butter if you want. It might change the final hardness of the lip scrub though. Then I added in a bit of castor oil. This is a nice heavy oil that I think feels great for lip products. And then I also added in some caprylic triglyceride. This is a natural emollient ester. It's similar to natural oils, but it's considered a non-oil, so it's really lightweight. And I added that in as well to sort of do like a combination of a heavier emollient and a lighter emollient. Of course, you can use whatever oil you prefer. Then as a hardener to bring this all together, I decided to use some beeswax. I figured that just suited the honey theme, but of course, if you want to use a different wax, or if you don't have beeswax, you could use sunflower wax, Candelilla wax, I think that's how it's pronounced, or any other wax you have. You might just have to adjust the percentage. And make sure you do a small test batch so you can experiment with different waxes to see what works best to suit your liking. I went ahead and created a water bath. This is just a pan filled with about an inch or so of water. It just depends on how big your container is. And I placed the bowl into the pan and then I covered it just to prevent anything from falling in or any water splashing in. You do want to make sure you keep this on like medium low heat. You don't want it to boil because you don't want water splashing into it. And come back periodically as it heats to mix it and help melt everything down. It shouldn't take too long, and you really don't need it to reach any specific temperature. You just want to make sure all the ingredients are melted down and blended. So once everything's melted, remove it from heat and give it a mix and just let it start cooling down. Then once it starts to solidify a bit, you can go ahead and add in the cool down ingredients. The first cool down ingredient I'm going to add in is purified honey. I do think it would be okay to just use some store-bought honey to add into this. Now, if you plan on selling this lip scrub, I really recommend getting your honey from a cosmetic supplier because you do want to make sure you're using cosmetic grade ingredients in your cosmetics if you're selling. But if you're just making it for yourself, some honey from the cabinets in your kitchen is just fine. I decided to use this chai tea flavor oil from tkbtrading.com. I thought the chai, the honey, the cocoa butter, it just all went together and it felt so like warm and cozy and wintry. So that's why I did that combination. Of course, if you want to make this vegan, leave out the honey, you don't need it. Just winter cozy themes is what I was thinking with this lip scrub. And I think I definitely pulled it off. And then the last ingredient, I'm adding in some vitamin E. Vitamin E is an antioxidant, and I do have some natural oil in this and then butter as well. So it will help keep the natural oil and butter fresher longer. It's not a preservative though. I will be skipping out on the preservative in this product though, because it is anhydrous, which means it contains only oil soluble ingredients. And oil-based products are less likely to grow mold, yeast, bacteria, because where there's water, there's life. So there has to be water introduced into the formula. So make sure you use dry, clean hands when you scoop into your lip scrub, or use a little scoop to get out the lip scrub. You don't want to stick dirty hands in there. Then for sugar, I like to use about 60% sugar in my lip scrubs. This is just personal preference. Try 60%, see what you think. Of course, raise it, lower it, do whatever you want. And if you raise the sugar content, then subtract from the caprylic triglyceride. If you lower the sugar content, I would add to the castor oil or caprylic triglyceride. It's really up to you how much sugar you want to use. You can also use different types of sugars, but white granulated sugar, in my opinion, I think is the best. You can easily just scoop this into any jar of your liking, but if you are going to be making large batches of this, I recommend using some kind of piping bag. You don't need to put a tip on it or anything. Just fill up the piping bag, cut off the tip and then just squeeze it into your bottles. This is the fastest way to fill up containers for this lip scrub formula. Honestly, I don't think I've ever made a lip scrub I don't like. They're just so easy to make. The texture of this lip scrub is still so soft and gorgeous. It smells so good and it smells so warm and cozy. Absolutely love it. If you want to add any pigment to this, you can. Just make sure it's lip safe. Mica will work great. Just make sure it's a lip safe mica. But overall, I'm obsessed with this lip scrub. The consistency is great. Let's see how it compares to the advanced formula. So just like the first formula, you want to make sure you start out with a heat-safe container. I'm starting out with cocoa butter because I really like that chocolatey scent, but of course you can use whatever butter you want instead. So for this next ingredient, this is going to be the main hardener. This is an ingredient called Cerebellina. This is what I like to consider a more luxurious version of beeswax. It's essentially beeswax that has been more modified, for lack of a better word, but Cerebellina creates more of like a gel thickening compared to beeswax, which is more of a waxy, balmy type of consistency. So Cerebellina gives more of a luxurious thickening compared to beeswax. Of course, it's not a necessary ingredient, it's just a fun ingredient if you want to start experimenting with more advanced ingredients. And also if you're looking for ways to gel and oil, Cerebellina's your girl. And honestly, looking at this video, the Cerebellina and beeswax look pretty similar. Can't really tell the difference between the two. Then I added in some caprolate capric triglyceride, just like the first one. Instead of using the castor oil like I did in the first formula, I decided to use a different type of emollient. I used a combination of polybutene, and octyldecanol. I don't know if I pronounced any of those correctly, but these are ingredients that are commonly used in lip glosses. So if you have a lip gloss base, you could actually use that probably in place of all of these ingredients. If you guys seen my video I posted quite a while ago, it was my Formulating for Beginners video on how to make lip scrubs. In that video, I talk about how lip scrubs are essentially just body scrubs for your lips, and you can look towards ingredients that are in lip glosses, lipsticks, and stuff like that for other ideas on what to put in your lip scrubs. So that's kind of what I'm doing here, and just showing you guys you can think outside of the box and reach for other ingredients that you might be using for other things, also to make a lip scrub. Then just like we did in the first formula, go ahead and place your bowl in a water bath, keep it on medium-low heat, cover it to make sure nothing gets into it, and just come back periodically. Mix it to help everything melt, and once everything is melted, remove it from heat and then just let it cool down. And once it starts to solidify, you can go ahead and add in your cool down ingredients. I first started with the honey, and again, I am using purified honey that I bought from a cosmetic supplier. You can use some honey from your kitchen, but if you're going to be selling this product, I recommend using cosmetic grade honey. Then I added in some vitamin E, and I added this in since I have cocoa butter. This will help keep the cocoa butter fresh longer. Again, it's not a preservative. And of course, I'm going for the chai tea flavor oil again. And I'm also gonna be using 60% sugar in this formula as well. Of course, do any adjusting if you want it to be either more exfoliating or less exfoliating. Then for packaging, I just used the same 1 ounce glass jars, poured it in a piping bag, and then just piped them into my jars. It's the easiest way to get them in these jars. If you plan on selling, I recommend using a piping bag. If you don't plan on selling, just pour them in there. Super simple. But yeah, overall, I'm gonna be completely honest, I really don't notice much of a difference between the two of these. So if you really like this formula, you like the consistency, you like the idea of it, I don't really think it matters whichever one you do. They feel exactly the same. If they were both sitting here in front of me, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. The only reason I can tell the difference is because I put different caps on each of them. It's the only reason why. So just go off of whatever ingredients you have. Also, if you don't have all the ingredients I have, you can easily substitute things. You can use different waxes, you can use different oils, you can use different butters, Honestly, it's so fun to customize your own cosmetics. If you want even more ideas on how to customize these formulas, go over, check out my Formulating for Beginners video all about lip scrubs. You can learn even more. Yeah, my channel is all about formulating cosmetics. I have an entire Formulating for Beginners series. If you're new and confused and want to learn more, you can literally spend hours binge watching my videos and just learning about the world of cosmetic formulating because it's so fun and interesting. I also post over on Patreon 2 bonus videos a month. Over there, I try to do more advanced content for you guys, for those of you who are more serious about formulating and those of you who probably like sell cosmetics and want to make them more higher end, if you know what I mean. Anyways, yeah. This is my first formula for 2026. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It is leftover from Vlogmas. I recorded this during Vlogmas and I really like the formulas. I've been loving these lip scrubs. They're just so wintry and cozy, like I said. All right, talk to you later.
Also, don't forget to go over and check out my Patreon where I post 2 exclusive videos every single month. So there is a ton of videos you can go over and binge watch for only $5 a month. Also, if you don't have access to Patreon in your country, you can sign up as a YouTube member instead. If you sign up for the $10 tier on my Patreon, you get a shout out for your small business. I'll have all these brands linked below. naturesmagicllc.com. From Dusk Soapery on Etsy, LloydCandleCompany.com, HB Royal Retreat Store on Etsy, NaturesFarmGirl.com, Let's Blend LLC, at Stardust Bath and Body, HempyGirl.com, ShopLevi's.com, Owl and Lily over on Etsy, Skin Lounge Co. over on Etsy, BlackPetalBeauty.com, EmbraceBeautyEssentials.com, LegendaryBathAndBody.com, AstariApothecary.com, Reviga Cosmetics here on YouTube, XoreBB.com, PardoNaturals.com, NaturalStateSkin.com, TheNatureInUs.ca, NearCatalier.com. Use the code on the screen for 20% off. EarthAndAmberNaturals.com, SharkCityNaturals.com, DayToRelaxProducts.com, CrownedGloryLLC.com, LHScentedSoapsAndMore.com, JanaeRose.com, HealthNutBeauty on Etsy, VelvetTemptations.com, JourneyRoseBeauty.com, CHRBrands.com, Homestead Life Goods on Etsy, CanelaBathandBody.com, MadhouseMamaSoaps.com, Expo.com, Mystical Morning on Etsy, 7th House and Oak on Etsy, and MyCrownandGlory.com. Thank you so much for you guys' support. Without you guys over on Patreon, I wouldn't be able to do what I do, so thank you so much.